What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Calhoun Show for this July, where are we, 18th, something like that. It is late on a Wednesday, July 19th. Late on a Wednesday, just got home from Bridgeport from the Bridgeport Bluefish baseball game. They won again tonight. I think we're back in first place, which is fun. It's been a good week. It's been a really good week. And this is going to be a slightly different episode of the podcast. Doing it late because I wanted to give everybody time. If you saw on Twitter or Facebook, we're doing kind of an AMA style show here today where I'm just going to be taking questions for the first little bit of the podcast. And then the remainder of the podcast is actually going to be what Dan Condie and I have been telling you guys about for the last few weeks. Our new podcast went live on iTunes this week. So you guys are going to be able to hear episode 1 of that here as part of this episode of the Calhoun Show. It's going to be the only time that we do that. I'm not going to bombard you guys with the other show here on this feed, but I know that you guys have been with me for a long time, and I think that if you enjoy this show, then you're going to enjoy the next one too. So this one's not going anywhere, but please, if you would like to stick around and check out episode number 1 of KCDC East versus West. It went live on iTunes the other day, on Tuesday, yesterday. So we're super excited about it. If you haven't gotten a chance to check it out here, but don't forget to go subscribe to all the social media platforms between Twitter and Facebook. Check out the website, kcdcevw.com. But you'll hear all of that. Because Dan and I talked about that during the podcast. So please, when that rolls around in this episode of the Calhoun Show, enjoy it. And next week, we will be back to our regularly scheduled programming here on the Calhoun Show. But I've got a couple stories for you guys, and then we'll do some of the AMA, some of the Ask Me Anythings that we were doing on Twitter and Facebook throughout the day today. So without any further ado, let's go back to our favorite song in the world. It's our intro song. It's written by our boy, Patrick Dixon. Here we go. It's Calhoun Show. As always, you can follow the show on Twitter at Calhoun Show and email the show calhounshow@gmail.com. You can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Stitcher, or SoundCloud. All the episodes go up on YouTube in their entirety as well. And you can send us a voicemail anytime you want. 860-740-2119 is the number to do that. You can follow me on Twitter at ShutUpCalhoun, or the other Twitter account that is new is my KCDC Twitter account, which I'm only going to plug here every once in a great while because it's not the Twitter account that has anything to do with this show, but it's KCDC_East, and I'm actually probably going to be doing more tweeting from that one than from my normal one. But either way, those are the social media avenues to connect with this show. Now, this week, we are doing an Ask Me Anything style version of the Calhoun Show. So what does that entail? It entails you guys asking me questions, but before we do that, I have a couple things to talk about first. Number one, the only proper way to start this podcast is by acknowledging one of the people that has been around this podcast since day number 1. I don't think he's missed more than a couple episodes here or there. Maybe I'm giving him less credit than he deserves, but either way, he's been a staple on this show. He's been in studio on this show, I think at least once. I think I've only had him in once so far because he's not close most of the time. But one of my best friends, a kid who I, would have considered my best friend in the whole wide world from some age when I was young up through high school, and he remains one of my best friends on the planet, got married this past Friday. So Kyle and Jess, who I'm sure does not listen to this, I love both of you, but Kyle, congratulations, buddy. It's been a long time that I've known you, and I don't know many more people that are more emotionally, mentally prepared and capable of handling adulthood as much as Kyle is. And he's got his shit together and he knows what he's doing. And him and Jess had a beautiful wedding last Friday, and I was honored to be invited. And I had a blast. Got to hang out with a bunch of people that I love, and it was a really good time. And another one of our staples, our longtime listeners, and somebody who is going to get plenty of shout outs on this show because he sent a ton of awesome questions in, as did our other Kyle, is our other Kyle. We have 3, but I'm only talking about 2 of them right now. Still love you, KB. But our guy KG is getting married here in a couple weeks too, and I can't wait to see everybody that I got to see at Kyle M's wedding on Friday again in a couple weeks. But We had an absolute blast out on Long Island. And I got to tell you guys, I took the Long Island, I guess it's the Bridgeport and Port Jefferson ferry. And I'd never taken my car on a ferry before. This thing is awesome. So this would have been like a 3.5 hour drive. But the nice part for me is the ferry takes off literally like behind the left field of the Bluefish Stadium where I work. So I have like a 45-minute drive to work every day. But that drive seems like nothing when you're going to the ferry. So I do that. Then you get on the ferry, and you're on the ferry for like an hour and 15 minutes, and you don't have to stay in the car, get out, walk around, get a drink, look at the water, talk on the phone, doesn't matter. It's an hour of time to kill, no big deal. Get off the boat. It's like a 35-minute ride to the hotel. So basically drive to work, hang out on a boat, and then 35 minutes to a hotel, as opposed to the 3.5 hour drive that it would have taken to drive all the way inland toward New York City and then head back out. So that would not have been fun. Also, the ferry, props to them too. So I slept terribly on Friday night after the wedding in the hotel. I got like 3 hours of sleep, and then I woke up at like 3:30 in the morning, and I couldn't fall back asleep for like 2 hours. So I had a ticket to go over the ferry back to Connecticut at 11 o'clock in the morning, and it's 6 o'clock in the morning. And I call the ferry people, and I'm like, yo, I got an 11 o'clock ticket. Will you honor that at an earlier time? So the ferry runs out of Port Jeff once an hour, right at the top of the hour. And the woman on the phone goes, yeah, we would honor it. But what boat are you on? I was like, I'm on the 11. She goes, well, we do honor if you show up to an earlier boat, but unfortunately 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 8 o'clock are all full. And I'm like, well, it's what time did I say? 5:30, 6? I think their office opened at 6. They wouldn't answer the phone at 5:30 when I called. So I'm talking to this woman at like 6:01. And I'm 40 minutes from the boat. And she's like, sorry, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, all filled up. You're going to have to wait till 11. And I was like, all right, well, do you have a 7 o'clock boat? And she was like, yeah. And I said, is it full? And she said, no. And I said, all right, well, I'm going to try to get there. So I did. And I tried to get there. And I actually I got home. So I'm on the boat at 7. I'm off the boat at 8:15. I got home around 9 o'clock in the morning, turn on the shower. I'm going to grab a shower, and then I'm going to go to sleep, right? Nap for a few hours. And I was in the shower when my alarm went off for me to get up to go get on the boat. I was already home in my own shower. So it was cracking me up a little bit, but the weekend was great. The boat was great. My ankle's doing good. It has survived up until today on what is a 7-game homestand. We had a game Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and we've got games all the way up through Sunday of this week. I've had an ankle brace and an air cast on my right ankle every day for the last week and a half, and my leg is still bruised up to my knee, and I did the damage to my ankle a week and a half ago. So it's been a fun time dealing with this, but it's hopefully getting better. And I think that there is definitely some physical therapy coming in my future. They told me when they looked at the x-ray that there is, quote unquote, more room between your bones than we'd like to see. I was like, is that from repeatedly turning my ankle over and tearing it to shreds? And the response was, yep, that's exactly what it's from. So no surprise there. All right, let's get into this. We have a bunch of questions that you guys sent us at the Calhoun Show's Facebook page, on the Twitter page. We got some emailed questions. So we have a bunch of them to get through. So first off, shout out to those of you who sent in a bunch of questions. Our mainstays, our people. We know our people. Sarah, KG, KM, like these are the people. They all sent in stuff. But we got questions from a bunch of people. So I'm going to bounce around. Shout out to Sarah, KM, and KG, though, for sending in as much as they just always do. As much as they always do. I'm just going to go, I'm going to bounce around these questions a little bit here. So Sarah asks, what is your favorite NBA conspiracy? What is the NBA conspiracy that you most believe to be true? Now, I am not a huge conspiracy guy. I don't necessarily off the top of my head know a bunch of different NBA conspiracies that are going around. If there's big ones that I don't know about, I probably should, but I'm not a huge conspiracy guy. I would imagine that, any conspiracy would have to circle around referees or would have to circle around scheduling or all that kind of stuff. I don't have a favorite NBA conspiracy, I guess. I don't know enough. I don't know enough conspiracy theories in general to talk about that. And I think we're going to revisit that. But I think there is. I don't know. I'm having a hard. I've been thinking about this one all day, and I led with it because I feel bad. I really did. I didn't lead with one on purpose that I wouldn't be able to answer properly, but I led with that one because I just felt dumb and I refused to look it up. Like I didn't want to look up NBA conspiracies because I didn't want to like co-sign something I'd never heard before. But yeah, I don't know a bunch of NBA conspiracies. So Sarah, if you had something in mind, I am curious what you were going for there, because I don't know any NBA conspiracies that come to my brain right off the top. KM replied to that actually with, what is your favorite conspiracy theory in general? Moon landing was definitely fake, LOL. Moon landing is an interesting conspiracy. I was talking to Stephanie about this, and if you're new to the podcast, that's my sister. I was talking to Stephanie about this on my ride home from work about a half hour ago. She said, Kyle sent in the best question ever. That's going to be the last question, by the way. And Kyle, just goddamn, such a good question. I can't wait. I'm stewing in my head. So I didn't get to see any of these questions until about a half hour ago, when I was talking to Stephanie on the phone driving home, and she was reading me reading off a couple of them. And, so we started talking about the moon landing real quick. That one's a fun one, but I think, and I haven't done any research into it, but I know that there are so many levels to it. I don't think, conspiracy theories get better than JFK. Right? Because there's so many options and there's so many different players and there's so many different conspiracies on who told who to do what and who did this and who did that. That, to me, that's Mount Rushmore. That's Mount Rushmore conspiracies. It's got to be. It's got to be. At least it at least is near the top. It's at least near the top. Question we got in through email. And I think that this was based on something I had said in the last couple of weeks about the NFC East. And I know Dan and I have discussed this recently too. Mark emailed us, not our normal Mark either, which is cool. Shout out to Mark. Either one. Asked me where the Giants are going to finish in the NFC East. And I know I'm a Giants fan. I know where things stand with the Cowboys and all that stuff. I think the Giants are the best roster in the NFC East. And it seems maybe outlandish to you if you're looking at the Cowboys and what they've done the last 2 years, I guess. But the Giants, to me, have the best roster in the East. They have the best offense in the East. They have the best defense in the division by a lot. Washington, I guess, is second there. But I like the Giants to win the East this year. I really do. I really do. Sarah, you can also, So Sarah sent us a really long and good email about Mario and Sid, and I haven't gotten a chance to get to it because I haven't found the right spot to plug it into the show. I think I'm just going to post it for now. I need to get Sarah. I need to get Sarah on the show. It's at some point, and I know Sarah's super, super, super busy. But she did send us a bunch of good questions. Here's another one, and I'm going to read her. She answered her own question, and I love this question. All right, in a 2-game series based on total score, the All Blacks, which is a rugby team out of New Zealand, I knew that. She didn't write that. I just knew that. Look at me. And the New England Patriots play 1 game of football and 1 game of rugby. You only get to pick 22 guys. Who wins? Her argument is the All Blacks. They will crush the Pats in rugby. Football is way more specialized than rugby, who is kicking after scoring. You are looking at playing linemen that cannot run constantly to get 15 starters. Brady is not the weapon in football or in rugby that he is in football, and so on and so forth. I would take the New England Patriots, and I would think it's not close. I really would. It's the same argument. Well, it's not the same argument. It's a similar argument to one that comes up in MMA here and there, which is you hear people in MMA, and I love the UFC. You guys know this. I love the UFC. You hear MMA analysts talk about these guys and the fact that they have this skill set and they're super well-rounded on all of these different things. And these are the best athletes in the world. No. NFL football players are bigger, stronger. The level it takes to get to where they're at is insane. And I think that linemen get a negative connotation and a negative stereotype that kind of applies to 25 years ago. These guys are big, but they are athletic. They're fast. They're strong. The Patriots would have the best 21 athletes on the field. They would have the best 21 athletes on the field. the football game itself wouldn't. I mean, it would. Maybe the rugby would be just as much of a blowout. But yeah, no, the Patriots would stomp a rugby team at American football, and I think the Patriots would hang in on a rugby match way better than a rugby team would hang in against them in an actual football game. My sister Stephanie writes in, who is your favorite sibling? Why do you hate Jumanji so much? And which Star Wars movie is best? My favorite sibling, that's a tough one. I'm going to leave that one alone for now. We'll revisit that, I'm sure, at some point. Jumanji is a terrible movie. I'm glad they're remaking it. That one will be bad, too. But it won't be as bad as the first one, because that's the worst movie of all time. And Star Wars Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back, is the best Star Wars movie. I was going to read Kyle's best question, but I'm going to save that one. Actually, let's take a break from the questions for a second. I mentioned to you guys that we're going to be previewing Episode 1 of KCDC East versus West on this episode of the Calhoun Show. And I was told, and I haven't listened to this yet because I wanted to come in fresh here, that my co-host, Mr. Dan Condie, has left a voicemail here on the Calhoun Show's voicemail line. So let's check this out, shall we?
Yeah, this is going to be short and sweet. This is your boy, DC, a.k.a. Dan Condie, a.k.a. the best host from the West Coast. I'm calling you out, Mr. Calhoun of the Calhoun Show. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to take you on. I'm going to beat you in every single conceivable manner possible. No matter what you think is going to happen, I will outpick you. You're going down, son. You better be nervous. You better be getting the drizzles because I'm coming for you. You're going down. I'm out.
I can only imagine this is just going to be a prosperous and loving relationship between Dan and I. Mr. Condie, my friend, my buddy, the shittiest host from the shittier coast. Good luck. Good luck with all of that. We started episode 1 of the podcast this week. It is preseason week 1 of season 1. We have 2 preseason weeks this week and next week, and then we launch into season 1 of KCDC East versus West. But this is the 2 weeks where everybody gets a chance to get in touch and get in line to know what we're doing and get signed up to get on the leaderboard. So you'll hear about all that later. But yeah, Dan's gonna come in with a little shit talk, think he can come into my house, step into my yard, and say some things on the Calhoun Show. And I guess you know what had happened because I played it, and here we are. So anyway, let's finish up here. And then launch into KCDC East versus West. Let's make sure I get all of these questions in that I was supposed to here. Sarah did send me that James Conner has the second best-selling jersey in the NFL, which is ridiculous. And I guess TJ Watt is somewhere up near the top of that list as well. All right, so before we get to Kyle M's last question, let's go to KG, who we mentioned a little bit earlier. If you could go to any stadium/sporting event in the world, where are you dying to go? I would love to go to a Super Bowl. I would love to go to a World Cup final, which might come as a surprise to people that know anything about me. I know that seems a little bit weird. The Olympics, if that counts as an event, I know it's kind of a 2-week thing. I would prefer the Winter Olympics, to be honest, than over the summer, but that's just me. And yeah, I mean, I'd be a little cliche with most of my answers, but yeah, it would be the Super Bowl first, and then I would move down from there. Nextly, if you could go back in time and see any game, what would be your top 3, or what are the top 3 most sensational sporting events of all time in your opinion? Well, I'll answer the first half. I like the first half of that question, which is, if I could go back in time and witness 3 sporting events that have happened, what would they be? Now, I'm going to be a little lame with this. I thought about this for a bit, and I'm going to be a little lame because I was alive for 2 of them, and I saw 2 of them on TV, but I'm going to pick them anyway. So number 3 for me would be the helmet catch, February 3rd, 2008. And I know that because it's my mouse pad. The helmet catch, the Tyree catch against the Patriots. That would be number 1 for me. Or I'm sorry, number 3 for me. Number 2, the second thing I wish I could have been there for, but wasn't. And this is a kind of a weird one because it's not a championship moment. but it would have been Game 4 of the ALCS in 2004 when the Red Sox came back against Mariano and gave themselves a shot at coming back in the series, which obviously they did. And number 1 would be 1980 Lake Placid. Not close. Not close. If I could have witnessed one sporting event live ever, it would be that one. Yeah, that one. The last one's actually kind of an easy one. KG, last one from him was a while back. You were talking about how good Tom Brady was, and mentioned even you could complete a pass as a receiver dressed up for a Pats game. Still sticking to that question mark? Maybe not on the ankle. Maybe not on the ankle right now. But yeah. If you gave me 16 games and I got to line up as the tight end opposite Gronk, I would catch one pass in that season. 100% yes. Tom Brady could make that happen. They'd eventually stop covering me. Right? They'd eventually just give up covering me. But no, this week I don't think I'd catch a pass. I think I'd be in a little bit of trouble. All right, this is leading into, this is the toughest question I've ever answered on this podcast. I'm not joking. There's not a close one that I can think of that makes me think, and I don't think I'm going to come up with the answer at all while I try to hash this out, because I've been trying to hash this out for the better part of an hour now, and I can't get there. So here's the question from Kyle McGowan, the week after his wedding. He asks the best question I've ever read. TC Williams versus Permian, assuming both Gary Bertier and Boobie Miles are healthy. Who wins? This is ridiculous. So if you're not aware, if you're not up to speed here, TC Williams is the high school in Remember the Titans. And Gary Bertier is the linebacker who gets hit in the car accident before the championship game. The Permian High School is the high school from Friday Night Lights, from the movie, and I'm assuming it's from the TV show. I guess. I didn't watch the TV show, but I saw the movie. So we're just going to go with the movie versions of these teams. I want to go down the line, and I didn't rewatch either of these movies today, so the names are a little fuzzier for me from Friday Night Lights. I've seen Remember the Titans 8 gajillion times. Defense wins championships, ladies and gentlemen. It really does. And I think if Yost goes into this game and knows what cornerbacks he needs to have on the field, then I think this is a TC Williams win. I think Winchell's a big problem. I think Sunshine's a better quarterback, and Bertier versus Miles with Julius on the other side. I'm okay with that matchup. That doesn't terrify me. I'm okay with that. I'm all right with it. So yeah, I'm gonna take TC Williams. And honestly, if people can call in 860-740-2119, I'm going to do my research. I am going to watch Remember the Titans, and I'm going to watch Friday Night Lights between now and next week. And I am going to have a descriptive detail on how I think that game would go. But initial thought, I'm going to give this a week. I just decided that. I'm giving this a full week because this deserves more time on this show than what I just gave it. I'm watching these movies again. But I think Sunshine over Winchell. I think TC Williams' defense would be the best of the 4 position groups on the field. I like that. But I'm gonna do a little research here. Man, Yost gets that defense going. Tough to beat. It's tough to beat. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. We're done. It's over. If you're in Connecticut, come see me down in Bridgeport in the next few days. We're going to be there with the Bluefish up through Sunday on the homestand, and then we'll be back next weekend. So if you're in Connecticut, come and see us down there. If not, check out KCDC East versus West, or better yet, listen to it now, because I'm done. That's it for the Calhoun Show for this week. Much love to all of you guys. To everybody that sent in questions, thank you very much. To those of you who didn't send in questions, well, stick around. Send in questions next time. But more importantly, thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you for downloading it. I will see you guys next week. Here's episode 1. Please enjoy. Welcome one everyone. Welcome all to KCDC East versus West. My name is Kevin Calhoun. I am the KC portion of that title. I am the host that you're probably going to gravitate towards. You're probably going to like me better, which is, expected. It's what I expect to happen, and I do have somebody else here with me, So.
Yeah, I've kind of already heard enough. This is the DC West portion of this podcast, a.k.a. Dan Condie. Listen, your boy here is aiming for popularity. Fine. You know what I'm aiming for? The win, dude. It's going to happen. I'm going to whoop you in every single pick we make. And really, that's the point of this podcast, because how did we get here in the first place?
So Dan and I, we met, 3, 4, 5 years ago?
4 years ago.
In there.
Yep.
Somewhere in there. And since that point, we've been watching sports together. We've been arguing sports together. We've been picking sports against each other. And at a certain point, I think it was realized that maybe we should just sit down and do this because A, we talk a ton of shit, and B, we think we're funny.
Yeah.
So why not do this with everyone else, and not necessarily just for everyone else, but with everyone else, and that's where the idea really took hold.
So here's what we're going to do, guys. For the upcoming week, we are going to pick apart the sports world. We're going to pick apart pop culture world. A little teaser for you.
A little bit.
We're going to do anything and everything to turn this week into one giant competition. We are going to make prop bets. If you don't know what that is, we'll explain a little later. But basically, we're going to pick our numbers of what we think is going to happen. We think we're pretty good at making predictions. That's what we're going to do. And then we're going to make it black and white so that everything is verifiable throughout the week. It'll go final, as we like to call it, and a point will be awarded to either the winning team over here in this seat or to the East.
Now, hold on, let me stop you right there. What's the difference between this and every other show on TV, on the radio, with two guys just sitting in a room?
We're constantly going to be under the microscope, and our feet are going to be held to the fire, and there's no escaping our stupidity.
And we believe it. We're not arguing shit we don't think.
No,
that's never happening on this podcast. That's not happening here. So Dan and I basically want to have fun. Now, we're going to pick against each other. There's going to be competitions. There's going to be punishments. There's going to be competitions outside of this studio. Left-handed putting. We're going to do all sorts of different things.
Absolutely. Making picks is fun, but at the end of the day, we also want that one-on-one, head-to-head combat kind of feel to this podcast as well. We're going to be doing it. And like you said, there's going to be champions. We're going to have weekly winners, monthly winners, and at the end of the year, it's going to be a huge tournament, guys. We're stoked about it.
All right, so how does that work? We're going to have monthly winners, weekly winners, that kind of stuff. Now,
we got to get points on the scoreboard.
Now, here's how this is going to work, guys. As you downloaded this very first episode of KCDC East versus West, you saw the title. It says preseason week 1.
That's right.
This is week 1 of 2 in the preseason. 2 weeks from today will be week 1 of this show. That is when everything becomes available to everybody when it comes down to picking things.
Absolutely.
We're going to have a year-long competition, 50 straight weeks of shows, 50 weeks worth of picks, 50 weeks worth of shit talk, and one winner between Dan and I at the end. But we didn't think that was enough.
Absolutely not. We're going to have a leaderboard, guys, tracked all the picks, my picks, Casey's picks, and then our respective teams. I'm going to be captaining Team West. If you designate yourself Team West, I got a roster spot for you. Come make picks on my side. If you think you're Team East, go ahead and join this man over here and struggle.
Yeah, struggle, because the East has typically struggled in anything when it comes to the U.S. Yeah, okay. No, the East is it's the better coast. It's the better place to be. We all know this. We all know that the best teams, the best fans, the best everything is here on the East Coast. And honestly, at the end of this year, we're going to know that the best picks come from the East Coast as well.
That's right.
If you think. You're goddamn right.
If you think.
You're goddamn right. So, here's how this is going to work, guys. Starting this week, Dan and I, we're going to spend the rest of this show, we're going to be picking stuff, we're going to be arguing, we're going to be having fun with each other, introducing all kinds of segments and stuff to you guys. We're going to be recapping it next week, doing it again, having more fun, and then 2 weeks from today, we start Season 1, Week 1, where if you join us, every episode of this podcast is free. Every episode of this podcast is free. And if you join us on Patreon for what? $5 a month?
$5 a month.
You get a spot on our leaderboard. You get a spot on Team East versus West. It's basically there to help us support the show and push the show forward, guys. The podcast is free, though. If you're not into the leaderboard, that's okay. But there's going to be monthly, weekly, and by the end of the year, I think we're going to have a a big old competition for a winner.
You're going to want your name on this.
You're going to want
Trust me. You're going to want to put your skills against the test and verifiably prove who is best. At the end of the day, that's what this is all about. So let's jump right into it.
Tell everybody where they can find our stuff online as they're listening, and then we'll get going.
KCDCEVW.com. Again, that is www.kcdcevw.com.
You guys, if you go to that website, you're going to see it. It looks cool. It's going to keep looking cooler. All sorts of stuff happening with the website.
It is very bottom level right now. It's first level.
It's got the logo, and it's got the links that we need, but it's going to look baller by the end of it.
That's right.
It's going to look real good. All right, so let's jump right in. We're going. We are going. Finally.
Yes.
This podcast has started. I am goddamn excited about it. So
taking off.
Now, this show, normally, we're going to start with the big stories of the week. Now, we're not going to sit here and break down, oh, yeah, this happened. No, Dan, what do you think about that? How do you think that really affects the landscape of the National Football League?
Yeah, exactly how many podcasts do you think already do that? It's all of them.
It's horseshit. We don't need it.
Nope.
We don't need it.
If we bring something in, as mundane as it may be, just because it happens to be topical at the time, we're going to put our own spin on it. We're going to make some kind of pick. We're going to make some kind of bet out of it. So what's been going on in the sports world, Kev, that's topical right now?
All right. Well, it's July, so why don't you tell me? So nothing going on in the sports world right now.
Wimbledon just ended.
Wimbledon just ended. Roger Federer, the 36-year-old, gets his 8th title. Nice. Nicely done.
8th Wimbledon.
8th Wimbledon.
Isn't this,
Wimbledon
what is
title.
This now? 18?
I think it's his 19th major.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, you and I made picks on that in our prep episodes coming up to this. Neither of us had Federer though. We suck.
No.
We suck basically.
No, we went with 2 of the other 4
that
could have won it.
Yeah, that's it. I think it's the same 4 guys have won the last 15.
I went with Nadal.
Yeah.
He went to a freaking 5th set battle royale.
5.5.
Your boy Joker gave up after 2-0 in the second set. I mean, just one little bit and it would have been but that's neither here nor there.
Would have been a little better. So that went on, but obviously the biggest story in the sports world this week is something that we're going to have a lot of fun with over the next couple months here.
For a while.
And that is Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor, the press conference world tour, 4 cities in 4 days. Craziness.
Oh, I thought you were talking about something. Who's Conor McGregor? Who's Floyd Mayweather?
Who
are these men? I've never.
Do you
heard
have
of
a problem with this?
No, I'm just kidding. This is huge. This is all anybody's talking about.
This is
Does
it.
anybody
This is
not
the summer
know who
right
they
here.
are?
This is the summer. I love this. And what did you think of the press
Aaron
conference?
Judge.
The world.
I mean, this and Aaron Judge.
A lot of Aaron
on
Judge
his
too.
own. He's the new face of baseball, unfortunately. Jeter steps out. I think he steps right in. Harper is meh. I mean, you'd say Harper is the face right now, or Trout.
Yeah.
Would you say either one of those two? Harper?
I think it's Judge right now.
I
think it's Judge right now. Just because it's New York. I'm not saying he's the best player, but just because it's New York.
I agree with that.
All right, so Mayweather McGregor.
Yes.
Let's go back. We have this world tour, this press conference, craziness, shit talking in 4 different cities in 4 different days in a row in 3 different countries.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
No.
You didn't like
the craziness.
it? Oh.
No, I thought it was all contrived. If I'm being honest, I think both of them understand this is a money grab, no matter how the fight goes. And I think that came out in the press conferences. I think the real shit talk happened trying to get the fight on Conor's side. And now that he has it, Mayweather knows exactly what this is. You look at the promotional posters, and it's just money everywhere going into Floyd's pocket. And that's on top of the $100 million. There are going to be a lot of people buying this pay-per-view, Kev.
So that's where bet number 1 in preseason week 1 is going to begin. We're talking Conor and Floyd, and we've looked at some numbers here, and we're wondering, and I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
Is this going to be the biggest fight of all time, honestly? Numbers-wise?
Numbers-wise, I think it will be, yes.
Yeah.
But I think that if Muhammad Ali and Foreman in their day had the internet, they could have reached higher numbers because they're off fighting around the world.
Yeah, that's fair.
Boxing has become more of an American pastime.
That's fair.
So
that's fair. I think that this is just money-wise. So if you look at the biggest pay-per-views of all time.
Yep.
300 million is what came out of Manny and Pacquiao Mayweather.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yep.
I think the second most was Alvarez and Floyd, and it was half or just about half of that.
Okay.
So that's a crazy number. Conor's never done more than 1.5 million pay-per-view buys.
Yeah.
Pacquiao Mayweather did 4.5.
Yeah.
So if you assume Mayweather draws that same number at 4.5, which I'm assuming he will, because Conor's as big as Pacquiao, not in boxing, but in
but the
popularity.
Event. Yeah, the event.
If you lose 1 million boxing fans, you're gaining 1 million UFC fans
easily.
So, and
there may be a lot more UFC fans, definitely more casual UFC fans who will shell out $99.99 that would never do this on the casual boxer side because there just aren't that many.
So it's
going to be a big number.
So the hard part about all of this is the fact that it's going to be so expensive, which is different from some of the other ones when you calculate all these things.
Right.
So if Conor and Floyd do $4.5 million on the pay-per-view buys, it's going to be a $450 million fight.
Yes, it
is. That's 150 more than Pacquiao.
How much did Pacquiao cost? It wasn't 100. Was it $59.99?
No, I think it was closer to 100.
It was?
That one was close to 100.
Okay.
So in this scenario, I'm going to ask you, 4.5 million pay-per-view buys. That's what Pacquiao Mayweather did.
Okay.
You lose some because this isn't a boxing match. Boxing aficionados, some of them aren't going to watch.
Buy it out of principle alone because they don't want to feel like a sucker.
Does it beat 4.5?
I think it does. Because they're counting the restaurant buys on the pay-per-view too.
Yeah.
Who is not going to buy this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that's true. Now, I don't know how it works with boxing. I know with the UFC, there's super strict contracts on what places can buy what, but I don't know if boxing has the same thing. It'd be interesting. That'd be interesting to find out because I think UFC can only broadcast in like Buffalo Wild Wings or some shit.
Yeah, I don't know because they have a contract with Fox, which is a national network. So I mean, it's hard to argue that. I don't know, but yeah, I do think it beats it.
All right, moving on. I think it doesn't. I think it doesn't.
You think it doesn't?
No, I think it doesn't.
First pick.
Yeah, first pick. I think it does not.
All right.
Under 4.5.
But do you think it comes close? Do you think it's over 4, under 4.5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think everybody's going to get a little sick of this over the next 2 months.
It's already worn me the wrong way. Rubbed me the wrong way.
The World Tour was a little early in the summer for me.
And in my opinion, it's rubbed the odds the wrong way.
Yeah, that's right.
You know
the odds have come down for Conor.
500 to 350.
Yeah, the odds have come down a lot for Conor.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it's big. It's big for a guy that's never had a boxing match professionally.
Well, Mayweather does look very apathetic in these press conferences. I think
I think it's hubris, and I don't know if it's misplaced hubris or not. But I think he just thinks he's going to win. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't think he's nervous.
No. I don't think so either. Yeah. I think it puts on the air that he doesn't care, and that rubs the bets that way.
Yeah, which is also true, and he does care because he needs money apparently.
That's correct. So, which he gets it either way.
All right, so not a huge time of year for gigantic stories, and again, we're not here to contrive stories, so we're going to do one more big story of the week. And that is the fact that there are still a ton of Carmelo Anthony trade rumors moving around the NBA.
Tons. It's opened up. Now the Houston stuff maybe has kind of grinded to a standstill. Yeah.
We saw Chris Paul say that he thinks Carmelo makes them a way better team, really helps them. What do you think happens here with Carmelo Anthony? Does he play another game in a New York Knicks uniform?
I think the Cavaliers find a way to get it done. There just need to be more teams involved because I don't think Love is a good fit in New York. And I think Love has to move in order for Carmelo to come to the Cavaliers in a trade. I didn't think that he would be a good fit there. I still don't, but I think they want him. And by they, I mean LeBron wants him there.
Yes, LeBron. Well, LeBron likes his friends.
Yes, he does.
LeBron likes his friends.
He's a good guy.
LeBron from the East. One of the best
we don't
ever.
Know that.
One of the best
we
ever.
We don't know that. Isn't he from Ohio? We don't know that.
Oh, wait a minute. What do you mean?
Dude,
hold on.
Where are you drawing the line in the United States?
Ohio's East.
Are you kidding?
Ohio's East. Fuck you.
Ohio is part of the Midwest. Are you trying to steal my Midwest teams, sir?
All right, so how do we... This is an issue now.
It is.
LeBron's an Eastern... This is an issue. Right. How do we solve this?
Well... Obviously, we start from our coast and work our way in until we get to the middle. And once we start arguing over what's a good line or not, we put it up for grabs. Why don't we draft them?
All right. But I don't want to draft 50 states, so we should come up with.
Until we get to the line that's obvious.
All right.
There's a straight line. I think here. Let me look at a map real quick. Yeah, there's a straight line that goes directly up from Texas through Oklahoma, Kansas, North Dakota, South Dakota. Everything west of that is west. Would you agree?
Yeah. You can have that.
All right. Now. That's 19 states. So why don't you start in Maine and Florida and whatever and work your way into the coast, 19 states, the ones you want they have to touch each other.
Get in Ohio. 100% get in Ohio.
You're not going to reach out with a little arm. But all the other states in the middle, I think that leaves 12. We'll go ahead and draft those.
Week 1. Let's do it week 1.
Let's do it.
So next week we're gonna tell you guys. So as you're designating yourself Team East or Team West. Now, if you live in Connecticut, now this would be silly. Now just hear me out. Just hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. If you were somebody that was born and raised on the West Coast, right? Now, maybe as you aged and your parents kind of saw the error in their ways and moved to the East and brought you with them because they know it's a better place to live anyway. And now you live in Connecticut, but you still, in some misshapen, in misguided fashion, consider yourself still Western in some way. You can still designate yourself Team West because in the end, that's what the captain of the team's doing anyway. So it should work out good for everyone because we're both living in the East because it's the best anyway.
And if you happen to be maybe a person who just doesn't really have any internal fortitude or strength to leave their nest and stays in one area their whole life and goes from that perspective after only having that perspective to choose from, you can also do that. Or if you live out west and you happen to be from the East and you've got both perspectives and for some crazy reason you're a backwards person and you think that the East is better than the West after having lived in the West, because hint, we're making plans to go back west, and we're taking you with us.
I'm getting kidnapped.
Because everybody goes west and they stay there.
Oh, man. I don't like this. I don't like where this is headed. I'm enjoying Connecticut. Not all that much, though. Not all that much. So
Everyone
you can
always
join.
asks me why.
You can join Team East. You can join Team West.
Absolutely.
Wherever you are. But next week, I think Dan and I will lay out our 19 states that we're going to have.
Yep.
It's going to each of us have 19. And then week 1, we're going to draft the other 12. We want arguments.
We'll preview the 12 states that we're going to draft next week.
Yeah,
get you guys ready. Give us your input. If you're in Minnesota, you may be very well up for grabs.
You got to pitch us. You got to tell us why.
You want Team West to pick you? Why are you West?
South Dakota's got a lot of work to do.
You
got a lot of work to do, South Dakota, to convince anybody to draft you.
Well, South Dakota's mine already, so you keep your filthy
South
hands
Dakota?
off South Dakota.
South Dakota. Mine. Oh, it's on the line? Yes. I love that it's on the line.
And their hockey.
Oh,
and
good.
Their Division II football
good.
teams.
I'm proud of you. Good. That's going to work out. That's going to help.
Yeah.
It's going to help a lot.
When we face Maine.
I like this. So a state draft.
Yeah.
A state draft week 1.
I'm excited,
Let's bring it. All right. So we have some big stuff happening this week.
Yep. Big events.
Let's go into the world of golf, a world that you and I both love.
Love it.
Let's talk some golf. We have the Open Championship coming up this weekend.
What a deep field.
That's right.
Oh, my Lord. We tried to pick out 16 of the most favorite odds on to win players. And you wouldn't believe how many people got left off of that list. Bubba Watson is like 50th in
he's
odds.
Way down the list.
So I say we add him just because I love the guy.
Just add Bubba?
Yeah, because the Open Championship is all about going long and avoiding bunkers.
Okay.
And Bubba goes way long and hits well out of bunkers.
That's true. He is good at those things. So how do you want to pick this?
So let's go ahead and seed our players 1 through 16. We'll have it March Madness style, 1v16 all the way down to 8 versus 9. And we'll pick it. There will be 4 levels to this bracket, so 4 days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I like it. All right, so the 1 in the 16, whoever plays better on Thursday
whoever
wins.
Hits lower wins.
And then if it's
the event of a tie,
and if it's yeah, and then it's the 1 versus 9. If the 9's better that day, he wins in the second day.
Correct.
I like it.
Correct.
I like it.
And in order to qualify for the last 2 rounds, you have to make the cut. So there's also that little bit of intrigue, because someone who doesn't make the cut may just be beating other guys who are even worse, and neither of them make the cut, and then he's out. So it's kind of a cool format. We'll post the bracket on the website, so you guys can go to KCDC EVW just to get a look at what it looks like. And as those rounds go final, we'll update it so you can kind of get an idea of how that's going to go.
And as you guys sign up and join and get on the leaderboard, you will see that Dan has figured out an amazing way to make picks so easy to make for everybody listening to this show. If you want to be on the leaderboard and you want to win this thing, you have a shot, because Dan's made it beautifully done, honestly.
Couldn't be more easy. Patreon.com/KCDC EVW, and you're all set. So big event this week, Kev.
Yes, let's actually make some weekly picks now.
Absolutely.
I'm
What's
excited.
coming up?
All right, so the Open Championship. The Open Championship in over in England, somewhere.
My favorite of the championships.
Is it your favorite major?
Yeah.
I like
it. It's
it.
more pure.
Link style.
That's right.
Nice and long.
Being a Scotsman myself.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it from across the pond. I like
That's
it.
right.
So, how do you now? We've done a couple of golf tournaments, and we've played with the formats here in our episodes that nobody will ever hear.
Right.
How do you want to do this?
So what we're going to do is we're going to lay it out bracket style. If you've ever picked a March Madness bracket, even within your family or whatever, just for fun, casually, you'll know this setup. 1 seed plays the 16 seed all the way down to the 8 versus 9. We're going to play that first round on Thursday's results. So these two players head to head, who scores lower moves on to the Friday round. Now,
4 days. 4 legs of a bracket.
That's right.
4 points for the winner in the end.
Yep. 1
3,
point for
2,
the
and
first
1.
round.
That's exactly
Correct
right.
Picks. Yep.
I like it. So on day 1, and we seeded this 1 through 16, right? We picked the 16 guys we like the best.
Yep.
We start with the 116 matchup, Mr. DC, Mr. Dan Condie, and it is Mr. DJ, Dustin Johnson, against Bubba Watson, and that's a hell of a way to start.
That's a hell of a way to start it out. So Dustin Johnson, I think, is well suited to play this course. The open courses are usually long, and they're usually real windy. I think he plays better on the long ball. That's gonna matter a lot. But Watson does the same thing, and he's better out of the bunkers. So this is hard for me. I'm gonna go with DJ.
You're going
Watson's
with DJ?
been struggling. I'm going with DJ.
Yeah, DJ's the pick.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with you on DJ. All right, what do you got next?
Next, we have them playing the winner of the 8-9 matchup. That is Mr. Stenson versus Scott.
All right, Adam Scott, Henrik Stenson. 2 guys I like a lot.
Yeah.
I like both of them.
Henrik Stenson is the defending champion here.
I like Stenson a lot. But you know what? Adam Scott week.
All right.
I like Adam Scott this week,
Fair
at least
enough.
on day 1.
Okay, I like Stenson. So
Okay,
there we go.
there you go. First difference, a point on the line. Right there. Let's
That's
go.
right.
Bottom side of this bracket, we've got the 4 and the 13. Another barn burner of a matchup. Rory McIlroy and Phil Mickelson.
Yeah, how do you like
Come
that?
on. Come on. What do you got
Or
here?
Justin Rose, right?
Or Justin Rose. I'm sorry.
Justin
Justin
Rose.
Rose
Yeah.
and Rory Yeah. Justin Rose and Phil Mickelson. There you go.
I really
know how
wanted
to
to
talk.
pick. I really wanted to pick Justin Rose here, and normally I would, but with Phil just recently splitting with his caddy Bones, I just think he's going to have an extra oomph in his step. I think he's going to have something new in his game. I think shake-up is really good to someone in Phil's position. He's been doing it for a long time. He's gotten stale. I think that he's going to come out day 1 with fire and then maybe peter off after that. So I got Mickelson.
Yeah, he didn't get to play in the last major.
No.
So he's going to have a little bit of the juices will be flowing.
I think so,
like him.
too.
I like him on day 1 over Justin Rose. And then finally, here's the name I was looking at a second ago by accident. It's Rory McIlroy and Paul Casey.
He's very forgettable. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Rory McIlroy, Paul Casey.
So much so, I got Paul Casey going on to the next
Do you
round.
really?
I like Casey. I overlooked him last
man.
tournament, and this time I'm going with him.
All right, you're taking Paul Casey. I'm going to stick with the chalk here. I like Rory. I actually do like Rory this week. So
Okay.
I'll go Rory. And that's our
It's his
second
tournament.
difference here.
It's his home court.
It is. It is. All right, so we move to the other side. What do you
Yes,
got?
sir. In the 215 matchup, we got Ricky Fowler against Justin Thomas. Who
Now,
you got?
now this is my side right here. This is my boy, Justin Thomas, all the way here. I love this kid. I think he's going to compete this week. Young, talented. I like Ricky, but JT.
Okay, I'm going Ricky.
Nice.
I think he played really well in the U.S. Open. I think he's going to be building on that momentum, and also was like that close and just didn't get it. I think he gets it day 1.
All right, right below that, 7-10. Hideki Matsuyama and Brooks Koepka.
Yeah,
What do you got?
Koepka.
Koepka, my boy. Brooks Koepka.
Yeah, he's looking impressive.
He's been my guy. However, I like Matsuyama. I don't know. He's been playing good. I'm just gonna keep you guessing.
Yeah,
just
you
keep
really
you
are.
guessing.
I
Matsuyama
have
here.
no idea where you're going with these.
That's
All right,
exactly
I
right.
like it.
That's exactly
Okay.
right. All right. So what do we got next?
So split picks there. 6-11. We've got Mr. Green Jacket himself, Sergio Garcia.
Yeah.
He's going to be buried in that thing.
Oh, I love it.
He was at Wimbledon.
Was he really?
Yes, he was.
Oh, he doesn't take it
Watching
off.
Rafa Nadal.
Oh, well, that
Spanish buddies.
Makes sense.
Against the Aussie, Mr. Jason Day.
I got Serge.
Okay, so
Serge riding the momentum at least through day 1. I think he feels good, and I haven't seen a lot out of Jason
no,
Day.
that's what I was going to say. Day got some really good looks on some of these odd sites. I can't see it. He looks horrible to me the last 3 majors.
Yeah, I haven't seen enough. And Serge has been playing well, even though I've always doubted him. He did get the major, so I guess I got to let it go a little bit.
And finally,
Yes, sir.
we have the 314
This is the second least interesting one to me.
Yeah, Jordan Spieth versus Lee Westwood.
Jordan Spieth.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
We had to put Westwood there. I mean, this is his tournament.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, so we go to the second round here.
Let's do it.
You have, my friend, the 1 seed, Dustin Johnson, against the 8 seed, Henrik Stenson. What do you say?
I've got DJ moving on.
Nice. So DJ into the Final Four for you.
Yes.
Now this is, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, day by day. So
That's
this
right.
is Stenson versus DJ on Friday, not
Right.
overall score at the end of Friday.
Correct. Thursday thrown out.
Yeah, if DJ's 3 under on Friday and Stenson's 4 under, and DJ's still ahead by 5 shots because of how well he played Thursday, doesn't matter.
Yep.
Stenson won Friday, so that's what we're playing here. You've got DJ beating Stenson on Friday.
Every day is an individual game. Every matchup.
That's exactly right.
All right, and you, sir.
I've got DJ and Adam Scott.
Same outcome.
Same outcome.
All right.
I've got DJ in the Final Four with you.
Mark it.
All right. On the bottom side, I have Phil Mickelson and Rory McIlroy, and I'm going to take Rory into the Final Four.
Interesting.
Yes, sir.
So I have Mickelson versus Casey, and I have Casey moving on. So no love for Phil.
Casey, huh? Wow.
No love for Phil for either of us.
Paul Casey into the Final Four for you.
I love it.
I like this. All right, so let's move to the other side.
Yes, sir.
Where I am sitting with Justin Thomas and Hideki Matsuyama. And I have Hideki Matsuyama with the better score on Friday, moving his way into Saturday for me.
All right, and I've got completely opposite picks, Ricky versus Koepka, and I've got Ricky, actually, with a better Friday.
Nice.
Ricky
So
moving on.
Fowler into your Final Four.
Yes, sir.
What do you got next?
In the bottom, we've got both Garcia versus Spieth.
Yes.
I've got Spieth moving on.
I do too.
All right.
So we're in lockstep on that one. Final Four, my friend. You're looking at DJ and Paul Casey.
Paul Casey for the win.
Wow.
Paul
All right.
Casey with a big Saturday.
So you're looking for Paul Casey to be real good.
Real good.
Through 3 days.
Real good.
Real good through 3 days. On that side, I've got DJ and Rory. I expect Rory McIlroy to be real good through 3 days.
I like
and
it.
to be working for me on Sunday.
I like it.
And
So that matchup is huge for us.
It is.
Somebody's final is going down.
It's big time.
That game.
It's big time. On the other side, I am sitting with Hideki Matsuyama and Jordan Spieth somehow.
Okay.
And I'm going to stop riding the train here, and I'm going to stick with Spieth to ride 3 good days for me.
Well, sir, that first round matchup between Rory and Casey just became very big because I also have Spieth. So it's either going to be Spieth versus Casey or Spieth versus McIlroy, assuming that one or the other gets
That's
there.
big.
This is huge.
That's
man.
big. All right, so you've got Spieth moving into your final day.
Yes, I
just
do.
like I do. And you've got Casey versus Spieth. Who's got the lower? Now, this isn't necessarily the winner of the
No,
tournament.
this is just the lowest round Sunday.
Who's got a better round Sunday, Casey or Spieth?
I got Spieth.
You got Spieth, huh?
I got Jordan Spieth
That
winning it
is
all.
ballsy. He has been brutal on some Sundays. I know
The
Travelers is a little. Yeah, I know.
Man.
He's
going to build off that. He took time off until now.
Cromwell, Connecticut just changes all your fortune.
And I didn't go. Oh, my God.
I know. I got offered
Stupid
tickets
East.
too, and I didn't go either.
Stupid East.
So you have Spieth having the better Sunday over Paul Casey. I have Spieth up against Rory McIlroy on Sunday. And I think Rory McIlroy's winning this whole damn thing.
All right.
So
I think Spieth's winning the whole thing. All right. I like it.
So I'm taking Rory McIlroy on Sunday. I like this. We actually had a lot of different picks there.
We did. And why don't we add another point here? If Spieth wins it, not only will he get the 4 points, but we'll get the picking the winner of the entire tournament because he could win this bracket without winning the tournament. So I could still get the 4 points, or you could still get the 4 points for Rory, but he may not win it. If Rory wins it on top of winning the bracket, I think there's just an extra point.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it. Now I'm going to stop the show for a second here.
Do it.
Now, why don't you pipe down for me, okay? This is something that we're going to be doing on the show from time to time, which is a 5-minute time to ourselves. Now, we're going to cut it in half this week, and we're going to split it, and here's why. Each week, we're going to have a winner between Dan and myself, right? Now, you can chime in. I haven't started yet. I'm going to tell everybody what we're doing.
Yeah, there will be a winner. It'll be
so
me.
there's going to be a winner each week, and each week that winner is going to earn 5 minutes, up to 5 minutes, on any topic they want, where the other one just has to sit back and shut the hell up for a minute and listen, because that's what they deserved for losing the week before. Now,
I can't wait.
I can't wait either, because your voice doesn't sound great. You feel like you need to. I feel like you need to rest it a little more often. And 5 minutes a week, that'll be good for you. I think it'll be good for you. So Dan and I, because we didn't have a winner coming into this week, we know who it would have been, but we did, obviously.
No, we know who it was.
Yeah, we do know who it was. It was me. It was me. I won our fake last week. I won our fake last show. It was beautiful. After losing, 3 weeks in a row. So it wasn't that good for me.
Yeah, he won the battle. He lost the war.
All right, so instead of doing 5 each, because we didn't have a winner, we're going to do 2.5 each. And I'm taking mine now, so why don't you just take a break for a second? You can time it if you want.
No, you're good.
So I'm just going to use my 2.5 minutes of this time to tell you guys a little bit about myself. And by a little bit about myself, I'm going to tell you a few things that I put down on a piece of paper in front of me, and it's titled My List. These are a bunch of things that are on my list. And if you don't know me, if you've never heard me before, this is just going to be a 2.5 minute window into my soul. Something on my list. Comparing teams from different eras. Don't do that around me. Dan and I have done it too many times. I don't want to do it anymore. The 96 Bulls could probably beat the 2016 Warriors. I don't give a shit, though. Moving on. Power rankings. Fuck you. Don't want to hear about them. They don't matter. Are the Bills the 18th best team in the NFL this week? Good. Don't care. Games that start at 10 p.m. Fuck the West Coast. Done with that, too. Oh, yeah, Dodgers game's in the 7th inning, and there's a no-hitter going on. Cool. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Eat a dick. Don't want to watch it. Blake Bortles. I'm done with Blake Bortles. I don't want to hear one bet on this show that Blake Bortles is going to have a good year. I don't want to hear it. I'm tired of hearing John Gruden compliment him on Monday Night Football when it's 78-0, but he has 400 passing yards and 7 picks. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear Collinsworth talk good about him either. Speaking of Collinsworth, fuck horses, and you know this. We're not doing this. I can't stand horses. It's the dumbest thing in the world. I don't want to talk about horse racing. Now, I'm almost done. I only got one more to go. Of all those things I don't like, the thing I don't like the most is losing. Okay, I don't like to lose. And I wanted to use a quote from a great man talking about what it means to win. And the great Al Davis, West Coast guy, once said, just win, baby, right? Well, Al Davis had more cities than Super Bowls, so fuck Al Davis. I'm going to quote a guy who has gravitated toward the East, and is the best NFL player of all time, and that is one Thomas Brady. Tom Brady has a new book out, Dan. It's called The TB12 Method, How to Achieve a Lifetime of Sustained Peak Performance. He said in this book about winning, and I quote, "Winning drives everything I do. It consumes me almost entirely. But there's constantly one phrase that goes through my brain, and I think it makes me who I am. And that phrase is, fuck Dan Condie." Welcome.
Yeah, well, why don't we just cut you off right there? That was cute. That was nice. I especially liked the, love ballad, the poem that you had for your favorite player, Tom Brady. That was nice. I really liked it. It was cute. There's talking about winning, and then there is winning. And thus far, up to this point, I've let's just say I've gained a little bit of confidence in my ability to win this show, to win this season. This is going to be a rough time for you, sir, over there, Mr. I don't like to admit that all of my past teams would get whooped by every team I don't like that just happens to be playing now, and the future teams will whoop those teams, and on and on and on and on. Because that's the evolution of sports, baby. It moves up. It moves forward. It moves west. Okay? And the greatest team in basketball right now is, of course, the Golden State Warriors. The greatest team in football, as everybody knows, is the Los Angeles Rams. And the greatest... Peyton Manning had an amazing joke on the ESPYs, by the way, that I'll just drop here about the Los Angeles Rams being on it was HBO All or Nothing. Yeah. Spoiler alert, it's nothing. I love Peyton Manning for that. All I really want to say is good luck.
Oh, wow. The classy route. Takes the classy route. What a prick.
Because you'll need it.
That's a direct quote from Tom Brady's book, by the way. I couldn't believe it when I got to that page. Fuck Dan Condie. It just didn't seem.
That's good.
It didn't go with the flow of the book. I didn't know he knew you, to be honest.
No.
Good for you, though.
Yeah, we met. We met one night.
All right, now it's time, Dan, to take a trip to our favorite place in the whole wide world,
And yours.
and soon to be yours. It is the OFL. Now, what is the OFL?
The OFL is the obscure foreign league. Like I said, we're going to make this worldwide. We are going to pick everything. Okay, when I say everything, I mean this week we are picking the 2017 International Women's Lacrosse Championships.
Goddamn right we are.
And we're picking the 2017 Junior Youth Table Tennis European Championships. Sir.
I'm so excited about this. So the OFL is definitely my favorite thing we've been doing so far.
It's amazing.
We just go around, we find random ass sporting events in random ass places, and we come up with arguments as to why our guy's going to win.
Right, and then we tweet them, and they follow us, and they like our tweets because it's obscure. It's awesome.
It's going to be great. All right, so for the OFL, you mentioned it. It is women's lacrosse. It is what, the 2017 International Women's Lacrosse something or another World Cup. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Who do you got?
I'm taking the United States.
Oh, in the OFL, you son of a bitch! I don't think this is allowed.
I'm just kidding.
Week
I'm
one.
going to take the Brits. I'm taking England.
Okay. I actually did write down Team USA will win.
Yeah.
So the way Dan and I do these things is he's got the Brits. I've got Japan.
That works because you got the East-West there.
I've got Japan, and whoever makes it further gets the point.
That's right. They do not have to win.
Yeah. Just whoever makes it the furthest.
That's correct. You can also pick, we will be throwing that up, who you think is going to win, England or Japan.
That's
That
right.
is your choice. You were with me or you're with him.
That's right. And if you and here's the nice part. See, you're gonna sit there, all you West Coasters. You're gonna be like, oh man, that's nice. Gonna pick alongside. Oh man, Dan, that's a bad pick. Now they're gonna have a crisis of conscience, right? Because they're gonna think, well, I don't want to pick England because Japan's gonna win, right? But Calhoun picked.
Yeah,
it's tough. It's tough to be on the West Coast. It's got to be. So that's our 2017 Women's Lacrosse World Cup. Now, what's your favorite OFL pick we've done? Because we've done, 10 weeks worth of just us dicking around in here.
Yeah. My favorite probably was the Island Games.
The Island
Not even
Games.
close.
Oh,
that was so funny.
Oh, it was so fun. The Island Games, you had the Isle of Man.
Yeah.
And I have the Isle of Wait.
Yep, that's right.
Even though it's pronounced white.
It is pronounced white. And you know what? That name may not have been coincidental. So
it was not.
that's a teaser. We're going to be pulling clips and putting those up on the website.
There'll be plenty of that stuff.
The week's top clips.
All right, so let's move into table tennis.
Let's do it.
Let's go into table tennis. This one I'm excited for. So the way we're going to do this is Dan and I are both going to latch on to one country and just hope they do well. So for the European Table Tennis Youth Championships, by the way...
Just as a side note, if I could, picking a country and just writing it out is a great way to do the OFL,
beautiful.
by the way. It works out.
It's beautiful. So, by the way, in Guimarães, Portugal is where this is taking place. Yeah. Now, we have the cadet girls teams draw. There's 35 teams to choose from, right?
Of course there are.
And on the men's side, we have the junior
164.
We have the junior boys team draw, which is 37 countries to choose by. But we're going to pick one each, and you guys are going to pick our picks. Who do you got?
Right.
Where are you going?
To Mother Russia, a.k.a. the West of Asia.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. They don't win a lot of stuff, but that'll work. That's good.
They're winning more and more.
That's fake news. Belgium. Yes, I'm taking Belgium. I like their beer.
Who does? Okay, fair
so
enough.
that's why I'm going to take Belgium.
You've never had Russian beer?
Probably not.
Google
they call it vodka.
Google it and you'll know why.
Isn't it called vodka?
I think it is, yeah. Vodka means a little water. A little thing of water. That's what vodka means.
It's not what it tastes like.
So they got confused, I think, one day, and now you see the results.
That's not what it tastes like, no. All right, so there you go. That is our OFL. It gets more and more obscure.
When we pick the cadet women, same countries.
Yes.
Love it.
Belgium and Russia.
Oh, love it. Okay.
There's 3 points on the line here. 3 points on the line. Now, Mr. Condie.
Yes, sir.
Let's move into a little bit of UFC, a sport that you and I both love.
Love it.
We love it.
Gastelum versus who is it?
Chris Weidman.
Chris Weidman. That's right.
So Calvin Gastelum and Chris Weidman fighting, I think, on Fox this weekend. I don't even think this is pay-per-view.
No, fight night.
So a fight night card. We're only going to pick the main event because it's the only one we care about. So why pick something we don't care about?
If you know anything about fight nights, the rest of the card is a fight night card.
All right. So who you got?
Man, I really want to go with Weidman. Weidman has the experience, and he's got the record. He's got the reach. He's got the height. He's got really everything on the tape that you could want, except the youth. And Gastelum is a beast. When I tell you he's going to be on Weidman from the bell, I mean it. He knocked out Vitor Belfort in a minute 7.
Yikes. Scary.
Yeah.
Scary.
That was his last fight. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be interesting, I think. At the very least, someone's going out. And I think it's going to be Weidman getting knocked out in the, call it, end of the first round. I think it goes over 4 minutes.
All right. I like Chris Weidman here.
Okay.
I love him. I just can't get over it. I think this would be fourth loss in a row for him.
Yeah,
and I just don't see it.
Devastating manner
too.
too.
It would be a big time problem for his career if he lost this many fights in a row. So, yeah, I mean, back against the wall, Chris Weidman is what I'm going to go with here.
Okay.
And as far as now, fight night card, but it's still main event, right? So
Right,
so
rounds.
we're picking out of 5 rounds here, huh?
Yeah.
Weidman's been finished a bunch, man.
He has.
It's a scary proposition, the 5-round fight.
And your theory.
Yeah, no, I know. So I'm gonna take Weidman in a TKO in the 3rd, just because I don't think he goes 5. I think if it gets too late, I like Gastelum. So I'm gonna say Weidman will catch him in the 3rd and finish it with some kind of a TKO.
I like it.
There you go.
Now, one of my side bets. If the fight ends in TKO, which we both think it's going to be, we're going to go over under midway in the 2nd. You're going to go over.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
take the under.
That's exactly right.
Perfect.
Wow. All right. We're pretty far off each other on that one.
Yeah,
I like that.
And the fight can end in any way with the over under. If the fight ends in a submission under the 2.5 minute or the 2.5 minute of the 2nd round, you get it.
100%. All right. Here's a bet for you.
Let's hear it.
Let's pick the NBA's Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
Let's go to the NBA Rookie of the Year. We've seen Lonzo Ball just have an absurd summer league, and some of that might have to do with the sneakers. He just wants to sell sneakers or get a company to endorse him, so he's playing his fucking mind off.
He said as much.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So coming into this NBA season, we have Lonzo, Dennis Smith Jr. Where are you going?
Kid can jump out of the building.
We saw him last night. Yeah.
Oh my
crazy.
God. His failed dunk from a couple nights ago was top 10 of dunks that were made that week.
Yeah.
That's how amazing it was. So I like that kid. But Lonzo's going to have the spotlight. I think Lonzo will have to show less. He'll have to show less in L.A. than Will Smith in Dallas because Dallas is a bottom feeder, whereas L.A. is just kind of a bottom feeder.
Garbage time, though.
That's
a lot
right.
of garbage time for Dennis Smith.
So I got Smith.
All right, you got Dennis Smith in Dallas. I like it. I'm going to come off the board a little bit here.
Okay.
Ben Simmons missed last year.
That's right.
I think
he qualifies.
I think Philly is going to be the most fun team to watch in the NBA.
I agree.
And I think if they make the playoffs, Ben Simmons is the Rookie of the Year.
With the Minnesota close second, I think.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a fun
fair.
team
That's
to watch.
fair. I just Embiid is something silly to watch. He's so good.
Yeah.
He's so good. So I like Simmons, and you have Dennis Smith.
Yep.
All right, now let's introduce something that we haven't done even ourselves on this podcast. This is brand new.
Let's hear it.
It's the PCP.
The PCP. Pop culture point.
That's right, guys. We're doing PCP on the show coming up next here.
You kids want some pop culture?
So, we got some pop culture for you. Come on over. What do you got here?
All right. So, as you well know,
yes,
Game of Thrones.
All right.
Season premiere.
You want to give a 1-minute spoiler? We're doing this in less than a minute, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't seen Game of Thrones,
buzz ahead.
1 minute. Go. All right, go.
Who does Arya kill next?
Who does Arya kill next? So she's heading to King's Landing, right?
Yeah.
I am going to take drunk Lannister soldier on the road.
Okay, so that part of the group that she was in. Okay.
Yes. Well, not necessarily with that group. Just some random guy that she's like, fuck that guy.
Some guy on the road.
Yep.
Okay.
Who you got?
I am actually going to go with the Mountain.
The Mountain.
I think she kills the Mountain next.
I like that. My sister and I made bets on who's going to die this season. We wrote down 7 names each.
Okay.
And we assigned points. I just do this in my life.
Yeah.
So
no,
and we assigned points to it, and I had the mountain in my list. So I like that.
Okay. So you want them to die though, right? So if all your 7 die, that's better.
That's better. That's 21 points for me.
I got it.
Plus 3 for an on-screen, plus 2 for a disappearance or a death off-screen, minus 1 if they live.
And if you're all following along, it means that you just found out this podcast was inevitable.
Yes, it was. This podcast was always going to happen, whether it was me and Dan with sports or my sister and I with
Movies,
Game of Thrones, apparently.
And, sure.
All right, so second, does Ed Sheeran die in Game of Thrones?
Yeah. So,
I love it.
meaning, did Arya kill or will she kill that group that she was in? Because it ended on her admitting her plan to go to the Red Keep and murder Cersei.
Gonna go kill Queen.
And they all were just looking at her like, ha 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 ha.
That's funny.
What if she, who knows? But then they ended it there.
But the point of this is, do we see Ed Sheeran die on Game of Thrones this year?
No.
I agree.
I think we just saw him so we could sing his little song for 2 seconds on the road.
I agree.
Are we close to a minute?
Yeah.
Are we still spoiling?
We're probably over a minute. Sorry. You guys are fucked. All right. So there you go. The pop culture point.
Love it.
I like the pop culture point.
Me too.
All right. So we move on, and now comes another part of the show that we love. This is where Dan and I have made up a bunch of bets that we just don't know about. We haven't prepped the other one. We haven't told each other what's coming.
No idea.
So you want to start, or you want me to start?
I'll go ahead and start, and then we'll alternate picks.
All right. We talked about this a little bit last night.
Yep.
We both have some baseball stuff.
I've got 4.
Let's do some baseball stuff to start, and then we'll just kind of throw wild ones at each other.
All right, let's do it.
Let's go.
All right, so in the world of baseball,
yes,
we have the Mets facing the Cardinals, and we have the Arizona Diamondbacks facing the Reds. So,
okay.
Who throws more strikeouts? And this game is Wednesday night. Is it going to be Jake DeGrom or Zach Greinke?
Greinke.
Greinke? Okay, I'm going DeGrom.
Because the Mets lineup sucks.
Fair enough.
Okay, I like Greinke. All right, there's one. All right, so trade deadline is approaching. The best pitcher available now, after Quintana got moved, is Sonny Gray. So I'm going to give you 5 options.
Okay.
Brewers, Cubs, Braves, Astros, Yankees. Where does Sonny Gray end up?
I think the Astros are desperate. I'm going to go Houston.
All right. I'm taking the Yankees.
They want it. Okay.
I'm taking the Yankees. I think that they are convinced they can win this year, even though their pitching is horrendous. So I think they're going to try to improve.
Okay.
What's next?
Next, I have who throws more innings this week?
Yeah.
Is it Clayton Kershaw or Justin Verlander?
Did they both have 2 starts?
I believe so. We'll just take the 2 starts.
Okay.
Who throws more innings in their next 2 starts?
I'll take Kershaw.
Okay. I'm going Verlander.
Really?
Yeah, he's going deep.
Like Verlander this week, huh?
Yeah.
All right. The Dodgers are on pace for 111 wins.
It's impressive.
Right? It'd be the most, I think, out of their team in like 40 or 50 years.
They've been on fire.
So I'm going to ask you a question first. Mm-hmm. Is anything less than the NLCS a gigantic disappointment for this team?
Oh, man.
Not a bet, just a question.
Right.
They've been disappointing for a few years now.
That's what I'm saying. At this point, it's just kind of, the flame is out, so to speak.
So here you go. Here is our first baseball long-term bet.
Okay.
I say the Dodgers do not make the NLCS because I think it's Washington and somebody not the Dodgers because I think they keep choking.
Oh, please let it be Colorado.
I think they keep choking out. So I'm going to say the Dodgers do not make it out of the NLDS.
Okay.
What do you got?
I say they do. I say it'll be the Dodgers and somebody else.
Probably Dodgers Nationals.
Yeah.
That's where the odds are.
Yeah.
And it would make sense, but I don't know. I just don't like this team in the playoffs.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
I haven't seen enough. What do you got next?
All right, next I've got higher number. Aaron Judge home runs, and this is this week, or Billy Hamilton stolen bases.
Oh, that's always a good time. That's always a good time. Anytime I get a chance to pick Billy Hamilton, though.
Okay, so
go to Cincinnati. I'm going to take Billy Hamilton.
I'm going to take the home runs.
As well you should. As well you should, but I'm going to take Billy Hamilton. Okay. Just get on base, kid.
Billy Hamilton has 39 stolen bases this year to Aaron Judge's 30 home runs.
How many more games does Aaron Judge have to play against Jackie Bradley? Because that'll hurt his home run numbers. Didn't work out good for him last night.
Certainly didn't. Oh, for what?
0 for 4 or 5 last night? Something like that. I'm out of baseball. Do you have any more baseball?
I've got one more.
All right.
Which National has the better batting average this week? Is it Harper or is it Murphy?
Number
2 and number 4 overall this season.
Meanwhile, Rendon's reached base like 12 of his last 14 at bats or something. That offense
Doing pretty well.
That offense is absurd.
Yep.
I saw Harper hit a ball 450 feet in about 4 seconds the other night, so I'm going to take Harper. He's hot right now.
Okay, I'm going to go
He's
Murphy.
Terrifying.
I'm going
Look
Murphy.
at this,
dude. And these are pre-picked too. By the way, my answers are pre-picked. So
all right,
this is awesome.
I feel good about that because I'm hearing these for the first time.
All right, randos.
All right, randos. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, and this is something that has been dominating the national landscape, and we're going to talk about it for less than 10 seconds. Pick Lonzo's shoe.
Lonzo shoe. I think he's going to go, Adidas.
Nike.
Okay.
There you go. What do you got next?
Next, I got the CONCACAF.
Oh, yeah. All right,
The
cool.
Gold Cup. All right, so the United States has incredible odds to beat El Salvador. So I'm going to ask you, is it going to be USA wins by 2 goals or more, or El Salvador wins, draws, or loses by 1?
I'm going to take El Salvador to win, draw, or lose by 1.
Okay.
Because it's soccer, and it seems like that makes better odds for me.
Okay, I'm picking USA to win by 3.
Soccer.
I'm going to pick USA to win by 3 or 4.
Okay. All right. Let's go El Salvador. All right. Philadelphia Eagle head coach Doug Peterson. You've heard of him.
Yes.
He was quoted as saying that this Philadelphia Eagle team
Sucks.
has as much or more talent as the Green Bay Packers Super Bowl teams that he was a part of.
Oh.
Okay. So my question to you.
Was this at the Comedy Store in Philly?
Philadelphia Eagles over-under finishing
Under.
3.5 in the division.
Under.
Yes,
They
me
finished
too.
last.
They finished 4th place.
Yeah.
Shut
They
up,
finished
Doug.
5th place.
Shut up, Doug Peterson.
The Eagles are going to finish 5th place.
Okay, yeah. I saw that quote and I'm thinking that is the 4th best team in their own division.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, going back over to the UFC, but more of a prop bet.
Sure.
Of the 5 fights on the card, and I believe there are 5,
Yeah.
what will be the majority of fight decision? Like, will it be majority finishes, or will it be majority decisions?
I'll take finishes.
Finishes? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going decisions.
All right.
Perfect.
All right, there you go.
That's awesome.
Oh, this is and you're pre-picking these. I
Yes.
like this.
Yeah.
I like this. All right, I have a few show-related bets to make with you here.
Okay.
These are ones that we can revisit later on in the year. So my question, and then we're going to play this closest to the pin for the first one.
Right.
So you're
Without
going to
going
pick
over, or that's okay?
No, it doesn't matter.
Closest to,
just
okay.
closest to.
Okay.
So we're going to pick which week, and hopefully it doesn't happen to me. Which week one of us has a big old goose egg.
That's hard
A
to
nice
do.
0. I know we're picking a lot of stuff.
It's hard to do.
We got to put it on paper though.
Okay.
You
Man.
pick the week.
I'm going to say week 42.
Okay, I like it. I'm going to take season 2, week 27.
Okay.
I don't know why.
I think that's episode 77.
Something like
or
yeah.
week 77.
Yeah, there you go.
Something like that.
There you
Okay.
go. Season 2, episode whatever, 27. Yeah,
27. You got
yeah.
it.
I
Okay.
like it. It takes 1.5 years for one of us to be that terrible, but I think it happens.
I don't think it ever happens.
It probably doesn't
I just
happen.
don't know.
It probably doesn't
know
happen.
when
But it
I
doesn't
know
happen.
it will never happen on my side, but I'm
Yeah.
trying to guess when it'll happen for you. I don't
yeah.
think even you can do that.
What do you got next? It's gonna be the longest term bet of all time. I love it.
Yeah, actually, that's okay. More runs. This is a baseball one. Sorry, I added this one in. Just Friday, who scores more runs, the AL teams or the NL teams?
I love that. AL.
Yeah, me too. That's the same one. That's the first one.
Yeah, it has to be AL, right? Because they have no pitchers. All right.
Yep.
Another KCDC related question for you.
Yes.
Over under 12 weeks. Calhoun betrays Dan and picks BYU just to piss him off.
Oh, under. As soon as it's possible to do it, you'll do it, you asshole.
Okay, what do you got next?
All right, show-related bets.
I'm taking the under on that as well.
Yeah, okay, good. You control it. I'm
Yes,
glad.
I do.
I had to pick yours. All right, so I'm going to go with over-under week 5.
Okay.
Kevin gets a win in a week.
Under.
Okay.
Under.
I'm going over. I'm going to win the next 5 straight.
I'd take the under on week 2. Take the under. All right, here you go. At the end of the year, we're going to have... Now, you and I are going to have probably 1,000 more picks than everybody else, just because we're going to do a ton of different things with us playing stupid games in here and doing all kinds of nonsense, right?
Correct.
But every pick that we make, that the listeners make as well, we're going to track, and we're going to be a part of the same leaderboard as you guys.
Oh,
all our extra
absolutely.
points are going to be elsewhere. We're going to have the same number of picks as everybody else.
Yep.
is either of us anywhere near the top 10 at the end of the year?
Oh, man. Yeah, if we have 10 people each, that won't happen. So, since we're planning on this, and this has already started to get big, so I know I've already got about 20 people that are in on this. It's just getting bigger and bigger. So by the end of this season, I fully anticipate the number of teams on Team West and the teams on Team East in the hundreds. So I don't think we sniff the top 10.
I hope not. I hope we're nowhere close.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say neither of us is in the top 10 at the end of the year.
Correct.
All right.
Okay.
I like it. What else you got? Any more randos?
I don't have any more randos.
All right. I wrote down something and then I crossed it out.
Okay.
I wrote down Kirk Cousins didn't he's playing on his franchise tag, and then I remembered I don't care about that at all.
No.
So we moved on.
That's right.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't want him playing for me, and so the more I talk about it, the more I feel karma will put him on the Niners. Stay away.
He might end up. He might end up
Stay
out there
away.
with your San Francisco 49ers.
We just need a better quarterback draft. This was quarterbackless.
Yeah, not good. Not ideal for sure.
No, and we did make some bets that were long term in the prep seasons,
Yes.
or the prep episodes, I should say, for this season, that we're going to go ahead and pull out for teaser for next week. The picks that we throw back and forth that are a little bit random, those are our long-term bets that
Yes.
still have not gone final and still are relevant and funny. So we're going to pull those in.
Yeah, we have a bunch of we've done a lot of bets. How many total? Somewhere in the
Over
100,
175.
175 in the first 10 weeks of just dicking around, not even for anybody's
Spoiler
consumption.
alert, I won by 7.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's not as
at
bad.
the very end.
I was down by a lot more than that
Yeah,
going into last week.
75-68.
Nice. Not
Yeah.
bad.
No.
Not bad. All
Really
right. I'm going to bounce back, though. All right. So
Do it.
let's jump into the KCDC fan vote, which is always available on the website, kcdcevw.com.
There will be some things that we just can't verify. It's subjective, but we still
right.
want to know who gets the point for it. So
That's
we're going
right.
to throw it up to our KCDC fan vote, which can be found where, Kev?
kcdcevw.com.
That's right.
Click on the fan vote. It's going to be right there,
Right on the
in front of
homepage.
you, right on the homepage. All right. So the week one question. It's a simple one, Dan.
Okay.
Can't get any easier than this. As we enter, the 50-week run that is KC-DC East versus West Season 1. KC versus DC. Who wins?
That is an easy question. West.
The question's easy. The answer is easier. And it's the East. It's KC. I know what I'm doing here.
We will sure soon find out. And that's the whole point of the contest. It's the whole point of the podcast. Guys, we appreciate you for being here with us. Join us, kcdcevw.com. All the links can be found there. If you're a Twitter head, you can find us there at kcdcevw. Are you noticing a pattern? Facebook, /KCDCEVW. We're everywhere. YouTube, we're going to put our one-on-one competitions up there, guys, starting with next week. Kevin, where are we going with that next week?
I think next week we're going to be going mini golfing, left-handed.
Left-handed mini golf.
And we're gonna have a camera. There's gonna be footage of this, and it's not gonna be pretty.
It might not be.
It's not gonna be pretty, I don't think. But I'm confident. I feel
How
good.
confident? How many holes are you going to win by? We're playing 18. How many holes
We're
are you going to
playing
win
18 mini. I usually lose mini golf by about 7 strokes right-handed, which is what I am. So I think left-handed I might get better.
by? So you're going to win by 7.
No, I think I squeak out a 1-hole victory.
Okay.
I think I squeak out a 1-hole victory.
I'll take that. I'll take that bet.
Okay.
All right.
I don't feel that confident. I suck at mini golf. Do you ever notice in mini golf they raise the hole up a little bit? So you
Some
gotta
places,
hit it
yeah.
real hard
Yeah.
to the hole. But if you're used to real golfing, you're like, all right, just tap it nice and easy, and it rolls up to the hole, and then it rolls off to the side
And
every
then
time.
other places have had 45 years of asshole kids sticking their putters in and out of the hole so that every time the ball gets right up to the lip, it's just frayed carpet and it bounces your whole... that may be happening, guys.
That may
with
be
this.
happening.
And you can join us for that as well.
Yeah, so Dan mentioned Twitter. You can also follow Dan and I individually on Twitter, KCDC_East or KCDC_West.
Simple, guys.
Nice and easy is where you can find us. And again, patreon.com/KCDC. And it's $5 if you contribute to us, $5 a month, help us promote the podcast, push the podcast forward.
Absolutely.
You're on the
you know
leaderboard.
what? Why don't we make next week a little bit of a free sample for everybody? We'll make our picks next week after we do our recap. You'll get an idea of what the show's all about, and then I'll make a list of picks from what we do next week leading into the first episode, free for everybody.
Nice.
Give you a chance to figure out if you like it, how it works, and then come season 1, those of you who want to stay on, we'll just open up the contribution feed. All right, guys?
That sounds good. And we know that you guys are going to be listening to this, and hopefully you guys are going to be enjoying this. And if you do decide to help us out with the podcast, we are going to have monthly winners, and those monthly winners see that $5 just go right away.
That's right.
Free for the rest of the year for you.
You win a month, you win a seat.
You win a month, you're on it. You win a month, you're on the starting lineup for your roster, basically.
Absolutely,
you're
right.
starting lineup Team East, because I know it's going to be the East that's winning all these months here.
You would hope so.
I would imagine. That's it. That's episode 1.
Love it.
Preseason week 1, KCDC's versus West. I'm KC, the future champion of this podcast. That's DC. He's here too.
I'm here to keep his feet on the ground because obviously he's lost his mind.
All right, buddy.
We're out of here.
See you later.